I'm 60 Seconds Spidey, and I've been covering the mainline Spider-Man comics, but I wanted to jump backwards for a bit and cover Spider-Man's team-up comics that I skipped over. These issues are definitely optional, but they often have fun adventures, and it's nice seeing Spidey interact with various other Marvel superheroes. One other note is Marvel Team-Up usually featured Spider-Man, but not always, so you may notice a couple issues skipped. Plus, Marvel Team-Up issue 3 was later reprinted as Spectacular Spider-Man issue 6, so I've already covered that. Alright, let's get to the issues. A crook named Fox steals a painting and frames Spider-Man, so Spidey decides to ask Human Torch to help him. But of course, Torch thinks he's guilty, so the two fight until Spidey uses science to turn off Torch's flame and explain the situation. The Fox attacks them disguised as an old woman before fleeing to Central Park, where he disguises himself again and tries to escape using rocket rollerblades, but he's caught by the heroes. Peter is spending time on the beach when Sandman appears, but the villain flees when he realizes it's Christmas Eve. On the way home, Spidey runs into Human Torch, and the two go searching for Sandman, who uses a gadget to turn himself paper thin, so they knock themselves out running into a brick wall. Sandman throws the heroes into a water tank, then flees, but the heroes escape and find him visiting his sick mom for the holiday. They decide to let him visit her before they take him in, but he escapes using her bathroom sink. Human Torch is alone at the Baxter building when Spidey shows up at the door, but when Johnny opens it, he attacks him, seemingly working with Sandman, Wizard, and Trapster as the new Frightful Four member. Using Reed's machines, Wizard accidentally summons Annihilus, giving Human Torch time to escape and confront Spidey, and break Wizard's mental control on him. The two heroes quickly send Annihilus back to his own world before teaming up to stop the Frightful Three. The living vampire Morbius kidnaps a scientist to hopefully cure him, and Spidey of course is blamed when he's caught investigating the scene. Professor X recognizes the scientist as an old friend of his, and sends the X-Men to investigate, aka beat up Spidey and bring him back with them. Using psychic abilities, Professor X realizes Morbius is the villain, and Spidey is dying from his latest interaction with him. So the X-Men save the scientist and capture Morbius, who they use to make a cure for Spidey, who kisses Jean Grey to thank her before running off. Ugh. Spider-Man sees a struggling Vision in the streets, and learns he is suffering from seizures with an unknown cause. Meanwhile, the villain Puppet Master finishes a puppet based on a crashed Kree he found, and sends it on a crime spree. Spidey analyzes Vision but is unable to cure his seizures, before the two heroes run into Puppet Master breaking into the Baxter building. Spider-Man duels the machine as Vision pushes past his seizures, and destroys the puppet, which breaks the machine, who stops emitting mental waves, curing Vision's issues. Spider-Man drops off the defeated Puppet Master to the Baxter building, where he learns the villain is the Thing's girlfriend Alicia's father. The foe reveals he eliminated his partner in jealousy, but the radioactive clay experiment exploded, taking the life of the man's wife and blinding his daughter Alicia, who Puppet Master adopted as his own. Saying he can cure Alicia's blindness, Puppet Master lures the heroes to his lab, where Mad Thinker is also hiding. They trap the two heroes, but when Mad Thinker sends his android after Alicia, Puppet Master betrays him. The Thing takes out the android as the base explodes, detonated by the Puppet Master suffering from a guilty conscience. Peter Parker saves a woman from a back alley robbery, and randomly is joined by Thor when the sky starts going dark and the world freezes around them. Peter swaps to Spidey and joins Thor in his fight against the minions of Krillek the Cruel, who is using the Dark Crystal to disrupt time. After the villain flees, Thor teleports Spider-Man to Asgard where the crystal is, while he goes to confront Krillek on a planetoid near Jupiter. Krillek phases back and forth between the two locations, fighting both heroes, but disappears for good when the Watcher shows up to take back his stolen crystal. While swinging home, Spider-Man is attacked by a woman called the Cat, who wants to prove her ability, so he will team up with her to take out a villain called the Man-Killer, who she recently encountered. Meanwhile, the Man-Killer eliminates the man who financed her superpower development, and reflects on her life as an Olympic skier that was ruined by a man's ego. Spider-Man and the Cat find the villain attacking the Harlem power plant and take her on, webbing up her allies as she escapes with a radioactive generator. Using her exoskeleton, Man-Killer is able to hold her own against Spidey until the Cat shows up and tells Man-Killer that she's a hypocrite since she accepted a man's help in making her more powerful, so the villain suffers a mental break and quits. In downtown New York City, the Avengers headquarters starts shaking and phasing in and out of existence, so Iron Man tries to investigate but is stopped by a force field. After seeing this on TV, Peter dons his Spider-Man costume and goes to help out. When they go through the force field, they appear in a strange reality and are attacked by spaceships and taken by a man called Zarko the Tomorrow Man, who takes them into the 23rd century to help him and save the Avengers. The two heroes break into the fortress and are attacked by a giant robot before finding the Avengers trapped by the leader, Kang the Conqueror, who knocks them out before being ambushed by Zarko. With Spidey and Iron Man defeated, Zarko attacks Kang and reveals he is launching missiles in the present 20th century that will revert the world's technology to the Stone Age so he can rule the Earth. Hearing this, Spider-Man uses a time machine to transport himself back in time and ends up in the Baxter building with the Human Torch, who joins him in stopping the missiles around the globe. The areas near the time bombs begin to revert back in time, but the two heroes are able to destroy 2 of the 3 bombs, leaving one intact to bring to the Inhumans, who can help Spidey decipher the technology to defeat Kang and Zarko. Hitching a ride on a helicopter, Spider-Man is brought to the refuge of the Inhumans to get their help, but unsurprisingly he is attacked and brought to the Inhuman leader Black Bolt. After explaining the time bombs have the same negative energy their city emits, Black Bolt gets his prisoner brother Maximus to enable the device to bring them back to Kang's fortress, where they fight off his time soldiers. The group fights their way to Kang and Zarko, appearing just as last issue's Spidey is teleported away, avoiding a time paradox. Black Bolt shatters the Avengers' glass cages with his powerful voice, and Spidey webs Zarko up into a ball before unmasking Kang and learning that he was just a puppet all along. While on work travel in San Francisco, Peter is lost in thought about the demise of Gwen Stacy when he's randomly attacked by a werewolf, but when Spidey gets the upper hand, the foe jumps off the bridge into the bay. Spider-Man is unaware a face made of smoke is watching him as he heads to a diner and is once again attacked by the werewolf, who tracked his scent, but for some reason all the people near him walk away in a trance. The werewolf turns human and reveals his name is Jack Russell and that he was hypnotized and sent after Spidey by a magician named Moondark. Spidey and Jack track down Moondark, who turns Jack against Spidey yet again, but Peter dropkicks Moondark through a portal, which drops him off the bridge into the bay, breaking his mental control over everyone in San Francisco. Still in San Francisco, Peter goes to Daredevil and Black Widow's rented mansion to interview the heroes like Jonah paid him to, but they are interrupted by the steel-covered cyborg Ramrod, who steals hidden papers before running off. Swapping to Spidey, Peter snatches the papers from Ramrod as Daredevil and Black Widow unsuccessfully fight the villain. Using super strength, Ramrod climbs buildings like Spidey, but Spidey drop-kicks him off the building to knock him out, returns the papers to Daredevil, and then swaps to Peter to get that interview. While swinging through town, Spider-Man finds AIM scientists and takes them on, realizing Captain America is there on a mission for S.H.I.E.L.D. After the fight, Cap transports Spidey with him to the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, where Nick Fury recruits him to help stop AIM's attack on New York City. The heroes attack AIM's control center and find Great Gargoyle there, who turns them to stone and straps them to the missile. However, before it can launch, the heroes break out of the stone and strap the villain to the missile instead and launch him out to space. Spider-Man sees a man in an alley being attacked, so he stops to help and discovers it is none other than Namor the Submariner, who Spidey also fights because he thinks he's up to no good. Namor is attacked by a flying ship and reveals he's after the villain Tiger Shark, who eliminated his father. Feeling guilty, Spider-Man joins with Namor and tracks down Tiger Shark and his allies, but they are poisoned and captured. Spidey is able to free them both before fighting the Menfish, as Namor takes on Tiger Shark, who he defeats. The fight causes the base to explode, but luckily Namor and Spidey escaped just in time. Peter and Mary Jane are watching Ghost Rider's motorcycle show when it is interrupted by a bizarre motorcycle gang whose leader, the Orb, hypnotizes the entire crowd, except Peter, who swaps to Spidey as Ghost Rider's love interest Roxanne is taken away. Talking to the crowd, Orb says he will return Roxanne if he gets to own the touring show, revealing he was the owner's partner before becoming disfigured in an accident. Orb, of course, double-crosses the heroes, so they are forced to chase him down on motorcycles before saving Roxanne, as Orb accidentally drives into an oncoming subway train. Rick Jones is in New York City looking for the Alpha Stone, which is being stolen by a man called the Basilisk, but the guard shoots the crystal, turning the crook into a monster. Spider-Man happens to be nearby and takes on this new villain, but when he is about to be defeated, Rick Jones slaps his negabands together to swap places with Captain Marvel and join the fight. Basilisk uses his reality-warping laser beam eyes to fight with Spider-Man, as Captain Marvel tracks down the second magic stone, which swallows the hero up and disappears, just like Basilisk does when Spidey is distracted. Spider-Man rushes to the Baxter building to find Mr. Fantastic, hoping he can help with Captain Marvel and the Magic Stones, who they discover are currently in the center of the Earth. When they arrive, they are attacked, however, by the inhabitants and brought to their leader, Mole Man, who is powering a giant laser cannon with the gem that captured Captain Marvel. The villain Basilisk shows up and they all fight for control of the gem, but after Captain Marvel breaks free of the gem, the whole cavern is consumed by molten magma, including the gem and Basilisk. Dr. Kurt Connors tells Spider-Man he recently did work for S.H.I.E.L.D. with a scientist named Dr. Vincent Stegron, who stole the work and fled to the Savage Land. So Spidey catches a ride on a S.H.I.E.L.D. plane and heads there, where he reunites with his friend Kazar. Spidey, Kazar, and his saber-toothed tiger Zabu are captured by swamp men and brought to their leader Stegron, who's become a dinosaur man. He explains he wants to help dinosaurs rule the Earth, so he leads the Savage Land's dinosaur population to his transport ship, but Spidey and Kazar scare most of them away. Stegron is able to load a few dinosaurs on his ship and flies off toward New York City, but luckily Spidey hitches a ride with him. Spider-Man tries to use the element of surprise to stop Stegron's transport ship, but Stegron hears him and throws him overboard into the New York coast. But luckily Avenger Black Panther was investigating and catches him. Stegron and his dinosaurs terrorize Central Park before the heroes show up to stop him and his army. Black Panther duels Stegron as Spidey saves Mary Jane, who is randomly nearby, from a dinosaur. Stegron tries to flee on a pterodactyl, but Spidey hitches a ride and punches him so hard he falls and sinks into the ocean. Thanks for watching part 1 of my Spider-Man team-up recap. Like, follow, and subscribe as I post daily shorts and long-form compilations.